Well, Robin, let's talk about the pre-season build-up for the Poles. You've had a lot of internationals away, so what have you been able to achieve in their absence?
Well, that's actually been quite difficult. It's I know in all professional sport you lose your international players, but it was nearly a month, and so you're working hard with the people that aren't involved. But we had 5 away, and we had a really good build-up with what was there, except that you really didn't have your top lineup that you were working with, but it certainly gave me a good chance to see who was going to be pushing for places.
And the good side, I suppose, is those internationals are getting some hard netball under the belt.
They probably were. I think they did hard trainings. They had 2 test matches. I can't say that there was a lot of hard matches for them, but certainly they were playing netball.
What did you make of the international? The win over England was convincing enough when they were tipping England to maybe push us harder than that.
Yes, I thought England could have pushed harder, but they were changing players all the time and you couldn't really see what they were trying to do, and I think Jamaica was a bit the same, and I don't even think they were available for their final match. Yeah, I'm just not sure what went on.
All right, they come home and you play the Magic a couple of times and some convincing performances.
Well, they come home and then you reintegrate the team, and you have to get them all together again, and everybody's get on the same page, and we were without them for a week after they did come back. There was no training mentally or physically, so we didn't see them. But once we did, it was really on the day that we played Magic, and I thought that we didn't work as well as a team that day. We had a good win against Magic, but they had been without players as well, and they were playing lots of different combinations as we were. But it's the old adage, a team of champions doesn't make a champion team, so it isn't just going to happen overnight, and I could see that day, and so could they. So it's just been really good. So we've been working very hard ever since.
Everyone's dying to know how Donna and Irene are going to work together in a rare partnership for them. How did it look first up?
It looks good. It's got a long way to go. I won't say it's perfect, and they wouldn't either. But certainly they have the mindset, the positivity, and they've got the experience. And once that kicks in, and then it's working with their centre and wing attack as well. So we haven't quite established that a relationship yet, but it'll come.
And it's motivation for Irene too, because maybe not the automatic international selection she wants, but there's pressure now, so she'll need to perform at this level.
Yeah, she will, because she wants to go through, and she certainly wants to play World Cup and Commonwealth Games, whereas Donna's a different story altogether. I mean, Donna's Donna, and she's out there. She's playing amazing netball. Really experienced and settled and respects the game and things like that. I think it's just a maturity with Donna now, and I'm sure she wants it to work, so I'm quite sure that we'll get it to work.
What's the situation with Liana? Obviously out of action for a while, but when could we see her?
Well, I'd say she'd be back as soon as she's had the baby, which is due in a few weeks, and she's coming back with the baby, and I think that the rest of the family is staying in Manchester. I think she found it a bit disruptive last year from a family point of view, changing schools, and it's not as easy when these girls are playing at that level and want to do their best and try and fit and do everything the right way. So this time she's coming in with the baby, and she's been training almost playing right through, which is pretty amazing. And last time she came back pretty quickly after she had Taurus, so she's just very positive about it all. We keep in touch a lot.
So she won't realistically be playing in the first few rounds, will she?
No, she won't. And it's a pity that this week we go to Melbourne and all 10 teams are there. And I think that's probably a blessing for all of us, that we do see one another and we can start the season off with not being in the unknown, that we've got a bit of predictability. So it's just a pity Liana's missing that, but she's pretty quick to pick up on things.
And it gives you a chance to try someone else in a game rigor. What would be your plan to cover for her?
I think it's been great for the others, to be honest. I've got a couple of young ones that have come on. Gemma Hazeldine, I've been playing her at wing attack. I mean, I think she prefers shooter, but the shooting circle. But to me, her body and speed and things. It'd be good wing attack, and so I've been using her and I've been very pleased. And Katarina Cooper, who didn't go with the Ferns, she's again picked up a ankle injury, which is a bit of a shame, but she's been playing well. And Millie's back now, Millie Lees. So we've got quite a good cover there. And I've been using Jolene Henry a bit in the centre, and I like that.
This tournament hasn't been held for a while, but how much do you give away, how much do you hold back?
Can't afford to hold back in it. You've got to play your combinations so we all get a good look at one another. In fact, you'd be silly not to use everyone, so that you are seeing your own players play against Australian players. And we do have a different style. And I always think it's a really good way of introducing people to that type of play. It's much more man-on, it's much more physical contact beside you all the time. I'm not saying pushing, shoving, I'm saying physically you can feel them all the time. Yes, so, and they've had lots of changes throughout their 5 teams, and it will be interesting, and I'm really pleased we're able to be part of it.
And it's quite fair on every franchise, giving them a similar build-up, no matter what your resources are like.
Oh, I think so. I think it's great, and it's really good to sort of see other coaches and other things like that as well. It's as good for the players as it is for us. So, yeah, I think it's a great idea, and we're looking forward to it.
Do the teams mix much off the court in these tournaments for some camaraderie?
Not really. Actually, if you could see the timetable, I think the manager sent mine today. It's about 4 pages long. There's a lot of travel. We're in Melbourne and we stay quite away from the State Hockey and Netball Centre. So travel takes up a bit of time. And no, there isn't any social occasion really. We're doing all the promotion work that television needs for their putting the games on. So no, I think it's just we go, we play and we come back again.
Just looking at the squads, talk about Australia, I mean, I'm no expert, but they look perhaps more evenly balanced than before.
I think they've swapped all along across their franchises. Players have jumped from here to there to there, and there's a complete new look to their teams, but they've done it well. Whether it was set up like that or not, I don't know, but the strength everywhere, and they seem to have evened out the strength. I don't think there's any team in Australia that isn't probably much the same. In fact, as a coach, a New Zealand coach, you're looking at it thinking, oh, well, maybe they'll knock one another out. That'll help.
I thought there's a danger, I suppose, they depower one or two of the strong teams that have dominated, so that's an unknown.
It is, and it'll be interesting to see how they all go, because they have combinations like Fever now have Bassett and I'm just trying to think of the goal attack that plays for Australia, and she played for Firebirds last year, so that's actually an Australian combination, so it's good for the Australian people as well. Yeah.
When we look at the Fever, they've always been perhaps the underachievers. They look a bit better, but we say that every year.
Yes, they do. Yes. Well, as I say, that shooting strength will certainly make a difference to them, and they've kept their defensive, and they were very physical and certainly took players out and made it difficult for people.
What about the movements in the New Zealand franchises? Your team aside, and Magic maybe not as strong, Mystics are a little bit better than they were.
Yeah, I think that all of us are working hard to keep up with it and make sure that we're really competitive. And I think that Mystics have certainly lifted their ranks from last year and made some changes. It'll be quite hard. Magic were good. They played all their young ones. They've got some young team members, but they've got Casey and Liana. There's no way their defensive circle isn't going to be one of the best in the competition. I'm not sure about Steele. Well, of course, Steele have got Janelle Fowler, and that in itself is a peculiarity in netball, that one player can make such a huge difference in a game, and it does make a difference. So, you never know from that point of view. And then you've got Tactics that have got some good young ones and some players there that are rearing to go. So I think we'll be fine.
The difference perhaps, Fowler now a known factor. Last year maybe a little bit of a surprise that she was so successful and put under pressure internationally too, and maybe the teams might work her out a bit more.
Could be. It's just like none of us have got that incredible height, and she can jump as well. When she does, that makes a big difference as well.